Hi everybody. As you can see, I've got Nora in my lap again today. I think he knows I don't feel very good. Trying to decide if it's allergies or if I'm just getting a summer cold. I don't know which one would annoy me more. I think I'd be happier to get over a cold than discover that I have allergies where I'm living. So, I did get the painting finished last night. Let me show you. I'm so sorry, Nori. All right, I am actually crazy excited with how this turned out, and I hope you can see that. As you can see, like if I do this, there's not a lot of gloss on this background. So you can see this is where I put the matte medium, and I wish you guys could feel it because this over here where it's just acrylic actually still feels really rough. And over here where I applied the matte medium, not only does it look softer visually, it is actually softer. So I'm really excited about that, and I hope that you guys can see where this still looks a little flat even though we added all those colors and layers in the flowers. And then you have over here, and you can see where I left some of the flowers kind of towards the background with just the matte on them, and then I added gloss and paint to just a few of them to make them pop, and that I think is just gorgeous. I'll probably take a better picture and throw that up on Instagram just because I really like this. So I want to do something similar again today because I'm so happy with how this turned out. Let's start with the background, nice and simple. Again, I am using the Liquitex gloss gel, matte gel, and I just haven't been very happy with the glazing medium. So instead I'm just gonna try adding the matte medium, especially since I saw that when I mixed that with my paints, it didn't really mattify them anyway. So I'm gonna see if I get a better flow that I was trying for. And once again, using Arteza acrylics still. I do still really like them. I will say the only thing that I have noticed, because I get really excited and I go quick and I start closing my caps. You can see, I hope, on this red one, I just closed it too tightly and the cap actually came up a little bit. Oh no. So I think I just squeezed them too tightly on there because I really like when I close things, I don't think about it. I just want it to stay closed. But it's also been rectified by I'm just a little more careful when I close the caps, and none of them have dried out yet. For this first color, I mixed 2 parts Prussian blue, 1 part gray. Thoroughly cleaned my brush. This is straight Prussian blue. Okay, and this is where blend those edges. This is just straight gray. There's that mixture of blue with a clean brush. That plain blue. There's that background. Clean brush. Okay, we'll be back in a little bit. I'm gonna add 2 coats of the matte gel to this side, and then we're gonna add in the next layer. See you in a bit. We're back, and already you can see the difference between the two. The straight acrylic and the matte gel really softened out all of that blending quite nicely. So we're gonna block in just the really basic shapes for our moon and our clouds. We don't have perfect circles going on here, and just trying to make them similar to each other. They don't have to be exactly. We're gonna kind of Bob Ross these clouds. So I'm loading up my fan brush, just the tip of it, with again just titanium white, and we are gonna try to pretend that I can make Bob Ross clouds. So 2 pretty big goals, not necessarily to make them just like Bob Ross, but I would very much like to make amazing clouds and trees. So Bob Ross is a good inspiration. I would like to find my own style. Okay, lovely people, these are both dry. Ooh, so dry. First, I want a lovely orange on my moon. I think that's as good as we're gonna get on that for today. Maybe I'll do separate studies and we'll do just clouds and then just the moon and something like that, because I'd really like to get good at it. This is all right for now. Like I said, I do want to take the gloss on this side where we already put the matte over the background, and I'm just going to apply it directly just to these clouds and the moon, just because we want it to shine extra bright. You don't have to apply it quite as thick as the matte gel. I've noticed that the gloss goes a really long way, which I really appreciate it working so hard. And just kind of in this general area. I'm not going to highlight my clouds in the back. I'm just showing you guys how I'm applying it. I'm just, ooh, nice big glob. But we're going to be generous with it, and I just, in circles, kind of like I was doing the clouds. Nice and thick. Let's let that dry. We're getting close to the end. I've got the gloss on here. You can really see where it made the clouds pop. And like I said, I wanted to have a tree in here. I was gonna do just a nice silhouette of kind of an old tree with a bunch of branches, but then I realized I wanted to see the matte over the gloss, so we're going to do instead kind of a thicker clump so that we can really see. This is just black. Gotta decide how many trees live here. This is just my flat brush, and I am just tapping, leaving some space so that you can see, and I think we need some more trees. Got a whole forest, right? I like a lot of trees. Why? Because it just feels so good to go outside and sit with the trees. Right? I hope that that's something that you do. I hope you get to enjoy that. That you go outside and just enjoy nature. If you haven't been outside of nature in a while, you need to. Our bodies kind of need it, I think. I don't know. Just being outside could also just be the feeling of freedom, you know. And we have to remember that we control, especially when we're adults, we control our reality. Yeah, it's a funny thing I noticed earlier today. I don't keep a lot of closed doors in my house because my cat doesn't like it. I was in a room, and he had already been in there just totally chill, and I came in, and I closed the door, and he wasn't fine with that whatsoever, and kind of, panicked and looked at the door, and I opened it for him to make sure he knew he wasn't trapped. He didn't have to. The funny thing was, as soon as I cracked the door open for him, he didn't want out anymore. He wanted to stay in there and very contentedly curled up at my feet, but he needed to know that he had the option of freedom. And I feel like a lot of us are that way even as just people. Is that we can be happy where we are, but if we feel stuck, if we feel like a door is closed, if we feel like we can't get out, that we have nowhere to go, We get anxious and antsy. We value our freedom. There's nothing wrong with that. We just have to remember that we have thumbs, so we can open our own doors. And yeah, I like to help people, and it's always nice when you have somebody help point that out for you. And it's like, hey, the door was here the whole time. You can do this. And that feels really nice to be reminded of that. But then that's where we need to build our own perception and find a way to find those doors, even when we're by ourselves, even when we don't have somebody there to help us remember. You know, sometimes we feel stuck. We feel like we have no options. And yeah, sometimes we're in a situation where maybe there's not really any good option. But I think we need to remember and just remind ourselves that we have options. And that we can either make the rash decision or wait for a better option. But please don't ever feel like you have no options. Usually there's something. It just depends on whether or not you feel like it's a good option, whether or not you want to do it. It's kind of the illusion of life, right? We learn that when we're little. Parents want us to do something. Technically, no one can make you do anything. However, you're taught at an early age that you may not like the consequences if you don't do that thing, but you do have the option. Don't forget that in your world, you hold the paintbrush and you paint your picture. You are the master of your reality. Whatever that is. And so long as you are not hurting somebody else, well then you just make your reality whatever you want. My reality almost always includes trees. They're just good like that, I think. Okay, I'm gonna give this a moment to dry. I'm gonna apply the matte gel over it, and then we will reconvene for the last time with our finished paintings. Can't wait to see ya. And we're back. This is completely dried, it's mattified. So, difference between the two. This was straight acrylic, this had all the different mediums. It's definitely a visually more interesting piece. I do think I did better on the clouds over here. And also something that I think would be fun is that I put the gloss all over these clouds. So now that I've played with both of the mediums enough, I would actually be more intrigued because I like the softness of the clouds and I do want them soft, but I like how this highlighted some of those darker colors. I would love to take the gloss and just apply it in just certain areas. So maybe that'll be something that could be really cool to play with, is to do the matte, do the acrylics, do the gloss, but put it just in very specific things because you can get detailed with it. I don't know if you noticed earlier, I had some excess spots where I had gloss that went off of the moon and into the black, and I could definitely do one of two things with that. I could have added more gloss and I think created some kind of radiating moon glow, maybe even tinted the gloss. That would be a thing. But what I did, just to, you know, show kind of a correctness, you can see where there's still some gloss on the edge of the clouds, but I took the matte medium and just put it where the gloss had got on my matte background and fixed it. It was basically just totally a correction, which I thought was pretty great. I'm really excited about this. It looks like an actual painting. I'm getting better. It's all I want. Looking at the two of these, I'm actually very excited. We haven't even hit the week mark yet. This was day 6, but already how cool are these? I think I'm getting better. So I think the next step is to concentrate on the little specifics and the details. I mentioned that I know how to use charcoal and pencil and do some realistic work, but I really need to discover how to do that with paint. So maybe we'll follow a tutorial tomorrow or something and just play around with that. As always, Thank you for joining me. If you did something artsy today, please take a picture and share it, or even talk about what you did in the comments. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Thanks!